bigger, you're stronger than everyone else. You just have to do it for 48 minutes.
I love the smile. Second quarter, Sixers down 1. Simmons, the lob pass there, and Embiid finishes Seth.
Play to your strengths. Don't show people what you can't do. Show people what you are excellent at.
Game tied at 56, and he was excellent there. It's beautiful.
Every time he shoots a three, I'm mad.
Hey.
Every time he shoots, even when he makes it, it makes me more mad. That means there's more coming.
One less three for you.
There's more threes coming every time he makes one.
Right. So
this I like.
This was fun. Okay, so remember, Embiid and Marcus Morris got into it a little earlier this year, and then now here they are once again having a little bit of back and forth.
Oh, well, look, this is why the Clippers brought in Morris. He's going to be the guy guarding Anthony Davis. He's going to be the tough guy for them. And look at this on the defensive end.
The last laugh by Joel Embiid. That block is unbelievable. The Sixers win at 110 to 103. Here's the question we really need answered, though.
Are you the hero or the villain tonight?
I'm always going to be both. You know, I'll start with my city. I love my city. You know, they've shown me a lot of love since I've been here. So, you know, we go through up and downs, and, you know, we learn from it, you know. So there's nothing more. We just, you know, playing with each other, just having fun. Like I said, I'm back to being a good sorry for cussing. But, you know, I'm just going to do my thing.
I have no idea what
you have no idea. Okay, all right. But what is your reaction to what we're seeing from Embiid and this Jekyll and Hyde team, for lack of a better way to phrase it, with the Sixers?
I'm glad that he's having fun, right? Winning is fun. Winning is fun, and I'm glad that he's back in that space. But ultimately, when you look at what Joel Embiid needs to be every single day, and this is where you have greats that have criticized him, whether it's Shaquille O'Neal or Charles Barkley, they see it all there. They see the aggression. It's a matter of whether or not he decides to do it for 48 minutes every single night, and that's a level of greatness that is hard to achieve, like a Giannis.
Until he does that, they don't validate this home win.
No.
Because until he does that, until he realizes, all right, the best players play to their strengths. The best players go where they can dominate the game. We talked about Zion earlier. All right, attacking in the paint, playing to his strengths. Like Embiid, if he just decided to dominate the game, he could dominate the game in a low block.
Well, and if you're a Philly fan, you're watching this game and saying, why don't we see more of this from both Embiid and Simmons? But Simmons impressed you last night.
Simmons was unbelievable. 22 shot attempts, the most of the season. Because he drove it and got in the lane to score, all of a sudden he became better. These are winning plays. Back-to-back plays down the stretch. He takes Kawhi Leonard and he puts him right on his chest and contests. To me, offensively, defensively, winning plays.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
You're coming with a butt. I know you're coming with a butt.
But at the end of the day, to your point, if they don't do this on the road, yes, they have a little moment. Then they show up and play at home. They're the best home team in the NBA. That's not a surprise to anyone. What we need them to see is do this. You know what's going to happen? They're not very good against teams above 500 on the road. Do you know who they're going to play on the road? Playoff teams.
Yep.
When you go on the playoffs, every team is above 500, and where they're positioned now, they won't have home court against anybody in the second round.
If Ben Simmons is as aggressive as he was there and Embiid plays to his strengths, yes. The question is, that's the big if. You have to validate home wins with dynamic wins on the road. I'm not sure that's in their DNA.
Look, they're at the exact same pace as they were last year for wins. The only problem is everybody else has been playing better. Everyone else has improved. So that win spot that you're in isn't going to get it done like it did.
Telling me that Taysom Hill is a legitimate candidate to be an NFL starting quarterback regularly and perhaps as soon as this year. Keyshawn, do you buy it?
I don't. But that's just me. I think people are falling into this Lamar Jackson sort of, you know, oh, Lamar's doing it, he should be able to do it, or Patrick Mahomes is running around, Deshaun Watson, so he should be able to do it. I don't see it. I understand what he's doing in New Orleans. I understand that Sean is putting things together in terms of making him successful, so it kind of gets blown up a little bit.
I get what you're saying, and I know you're not making this comparison, but let's point out for the record, Lamar Jackson won a Heisman Trophy playing quarterback in college. To make a comparison from him to Taysom Hill, who has made 9 starts in his entire life and none of them at quarterback, it's not an apt comparison.
Well, Greeny, you talked about hearing from people that they believe this guy has the potential to be a starting quarterback. Look no further than the Saints right now. I think as he enters restricted free agency, we're going to see the value that the Saints believe he has I'm hearing they could put a first-round tender on him, which says a lot.
Yeah, but they value him as a football player. Valuing him as a starting quarterback is a little bit different. I certainly know as a receiver catching balls from a number of quarterbacks in my career, he's not a guy that I see on an everyday basis that can do certain things. If you notice, the things that he's doing are all long balls. There's nothing really underneath. It's all play action passes, suck the defense up, throw it over their head. So it all kind of is a little bit of a trick system going on right now. But when you got to get underneath the center and you have to drop back 50 times in a game, will he be able to do it? And on top of that, at 30 years old, I mean, it's a little long in the tooth.
If a team is willing to give up a first-round pick, though, to acquire him, they're clearly thinking about more.
Oh, yeah.
Which is wild.
You can have him.
Yeah,
You want a first-round pick?
There you go.
Sean's saying, great, take him.
That's what I wonder about is, are the Saints really as all in on this as they sound, or are they sounding so for a reason?
They want to bait that first-round pick, maybe. But if they do that, to your point, they're still going to have to pay him that first-round tender.
Can I throw two words into this conversation, and we'll do a little more of this a little later? My two least favorite words in sports are load management. They come from the NBA. But in the NFL, where a guy like Drew Brees, if he comes back 40, 41 years old, clearly the arm appears to tire as the year goes on, that if you bring Brees back and you have a guy in Taysom Hill and you actually make the decision ahead of time, we're going to sit Brees for a few games this year somewhere along the line and let Hill play those games. I know it's never been done in the NFL to my knowledge, but it almost sounds like it might work. You look like you hate it.
No, it won't work because it's only 16 games.
Right.
It's unlike the NBA where you have games that you can just basically burn up.
I get it, but he missed 5 games last year and they won them all.
No, but Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback.
If you're going to do that, you go with Teddy Bridgewater.
If you're going to do it, Coach, you do it with Teddy Bridgewater.
Thank you for calling me Coach. I like that idea. so that's something that we can talk about a little bit later this morning as we go, because, again, I hate the idea, but it just might work. Meanwhile, I'll remind you, ESPN has 4 days of live coverage from the NFL Scouting Combine starting February 27th. NFL Live will have reports that week on ESPN and the ESPN app. NFL Network will have their usual full coverage. Laura.
Let's get to the NBA. The Sixers at home against the Clippers, and a little back and forth as we've seen with Joel Embiid and the Sixers fans at home. He got booed in introductions, but he's making himself count early on in this one, RJ.